to be quiet. It's on videotaping.
What?
Shush.
All right, we're talking about personification today, and we have a lot of different examples. I want you to turn to the inside page, which would be like page 2 of this document that I've given you. And it says personification. You should know by now, but in case you don't, figure of speech that gives inanimate objects or abstract ideas human qualities. Anthropomorphism would be personification of animals. I have examples of that as well as personification. Here is the one example of nature. Now, nature would it be an inanimate object? Or would it be an abstract idea or a concept? Raise your hand.
It'll be an abstract idea.
It's an abstract idea. When we say nature, we all kind of have a different idea in our mind, but we generally know, right? So, in this case, this person who wrote this is talking about nature as though it's a person and describing it. I saw nature. She was draped in moonlight, with diamonds dripping off her like water, and I felt awestruck by her beauty. There's a pattern here. Not every poem that we do is going to have a pattern, but this one does have a pattern. I saw nature. She was enveloped in green ivy, blossoming up towards the sunshine, as her arms reached for the warmth, and I felt Mother Earth surround me. I saw nature. Okay, so somebody point out to me what is the pattern in these two little stanzas.
I saw nature.
They say I saw nature 3 times. What else? What other pattern?
Well, the personification.
It is personification, Ben. Good. Devin.
It repeats I felt.
Okay, so at the end, the last line of each of these stanzas, it says, and I felt, okay, about nature, about what he or she saw. What else?
It says she was.
Okay, 2 times it says she was. Could it have said he was?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, still a person. What about it was?
No.
Not personification. Yes?
He was describing her as like inanimate objects or like clothing items and stuff.
Okay, so they're describing her as a person. First they say she's draped in something, which is like clothing. Then they say she's enveloped, which means what? Covered, right? Covered in green ivy. And she's doing something. She's blossoming up toward the sunshine. Her arms are reaching out, okay? And then in the first one, diamonds are dripping off of her. So you're saying that you saw this, whatever this concept is. You're talking about like it's a person, and you're describing what it looks like. And then you're saying what this person is doing, and then you're saying how you felt about it. Get that? Question?
But fungi, it actually has genders, but has like more than 200. So you wouldn't refer to it as he or she, you refer to it as it, but it's still living. So like nature, if you said it, talking about nature, it could still be living. So it could be personifying.
Nature's definitely living, right?
Well,
But let's not be.
It's giving it. It could give it person, like
Right,
or
right.
human.
I mean,
beings,
so you're saying fungi can be male or female?
no, they can be like they're like they can
We're gonna
be
cut this part out.
there could be like tons of genders, and it's not. It's I don't even think there is male or female, but it wouldn't be he or she. It would be it because they're not named.
I know, but the whole point here is that you're taking something that's not human and talking about it as though it's human.
You can just use
Okay.
he or she.
Let's look at the poem on the next page that says "The Sky is Low." It's by Emily Dickinson. Says, "The sky is low, the clouds are mean, a traveling flake of snow. Across a barn or through a rut, debates if it will go. A narrow wind complains all day how someone treated him. Nature, like us, is sometimes caught without her diadem. So I want you to raise your hand and tell me an example of personification, when they're personifying something that's not really a person. Cassie.
How wind complains.
The narrow wind complains all day. We know that a wind doesn't really complain literally, but what does that mean, Cassie? To say that a narrow wind complains all day, what does it mean?
It means kind of like acting as, well, it would, I don't know, it's acting kind of cranky, because when you're complaining, you're not really
Okay.
feeling your best.
So what are you hearing? What are you hearing if a narrow
It's
wind...
kind of like whining.
Okay, so you hear this whining sound outside your window if a narrow wind complains all day, okay?
The clouds are mean.
The clouds are mean. They're not really mean. What is that? What is it? What's the visual image in your mind when you think the clouds are mean?
Like they're dark.
They're dark, and what else?
I don't know their
They might be, yes?
Menacing?
Menacing looking, low. Okay. Give me another example.
Nature is sometimes caught with her diadem.
What's a diadem?
A word.
It's like a tiara.
That's right. It's just like her crown. To say that nature is sometimes caught without her crown on. What do we mean by that?
It means like you have this picture of nature always being this perfect, beautiful thing, but sometimes it's not always like that. Sometimes it's caught without its crown.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer. Give me another example of personification.
Debates if it will go.
Okay, so a traveling flake of snow is debating which way it's going to go. What does that look like?
Like it blowing like from one side to another.
Right. Is there anything else that we missed? Yes?
How someone treated him.
He's complaining about how someone treated him, right. So it's giving that mood. It's just sort of this overall cranky mood that nature's in for that day. Okay? Good job on that one. I want to show you a couple of other examples. Oh, let's look at the first page. It says things, the poetry column. This is in the newspaper, and I just happened to see this one, and it's a good example of personification. They're saying, here's an observant and thoughtful poem by Liesl Mueller about the way we've assigned human characteristics to the inanimate things about us. Mueller lives in Illinois and is one of our most distinguished poets. Okay. Excuse me. So it says, things. What happened is we grew lonely, living among the things. So we gave the clock a face, the chair a back, the table 4 stout legs, which will never suffer fatigue. We fitted our shoes with tongues, as smooth as our own, and hung tongues inside bells so we could listen to their emotional language. And because we loved graceful profiles, the pitcher received a lip, the bottle a long, slender neck. Even what was beyond us was recast in our image. We gave the country a heart, the storm an eye, the cave a mouth, so we could pass into safety. What is this person saying about what we do with language?
Even though they, the table doesn't actually have legs like we do, we call it a leg because it kind of acts like a leg.
But why do we do that? Why do we do this?
Because we don't know what else to call it because we have
Okay, so it's something that we're already familiar with. What else?
I think they call it a leg because it holds up the top part of the table, which holds up like plates and food or whatever. So it's holding you up just like legs hold up our body.
Right?
Well, the poem says it keeps us safe, makes us feel safe.
Okay.
We got lonely, so we named everything after like human parts, so that would seem like they're like us.
Right. So we tend to give things that are not human qualities because maybe it's what we're familiar with. It's what makes us feel safer. So we might have another reason for doing that. I want you to put your name on this and take a few minutes and pick one of those objects that's not human, but we talk about it as though it has human qualities. And I want you to try to draw it with that human quality. Like showing that. So like if it's the clock, you give it a face. Okay? Take a few minutes and just do that in this space. All right, good turn. Okay, so this is personifying what?
The moon.
The pearl is the moon, that's a metaphor. But what's being personified here?
Twilight.
Twilight. It's being turned into a person. So if Twilight was a person, this author thinks that it would be called Grandfather Twilight, and that these are the things that he would do. Okay? It's describing what he would do and describing, if you look at the parts that don't have words, it's as he walks, he's bringing the twilight with him. Okay? So if you ever forget what personification means, I'm going to say, remember Grandfather Twilight. And you're going to say, oh yeah, because this is a person. The author made Twilight a person. This is what he made. Okay? Now we're going to do another one. Good night, Mr. Knight. You can tell from the title that it's going to be what?
The night.
It's going to be personifying the night with this Mr. Knight guy. Okay? Do you see that I'm videotaping? All right. Good night, Mr. Knight. This time, someone's talking to him. It's a little bit different from the other book. This book was telling the story and telling what Grandfather Twilight does. This book, the person's somewhat talking to him and telling us about him. When the sun slowly falls just over the hill, Mr. Knight wakes. Sometimes I can hear him walking the earth, brushing past the trees. Mr. Knight closes the flowers. He quiets the animals and calms the sea. Mr. Knight keeps each star in its place. When I see him at my window, I know it's time for bed. He gently closes my eyes, and I fall fast asleep. He whispers dreams to me and plays music I hear only when I'm sleeping. Then, when the sun starts to rise, Mr. Knight grows tired. He lies down just over the hill and drifts off to sleep. And when I wake, I whisper, "Good night, Mr. Knight." So, again, he's describing what Mr. Knight is.
A personification of night.
And so all of the things that Mr. Knight does are what?
All the things that does usually happen at night.
All of the things that happen at nighttime. So this author thought to him or himself, what happens at night? And then I can make a person who's Mr. Knight and who makes all these things happen, and this is how he would do it.
It would take a while to go from everyone's window. So is that why there's like time zones? Because it takes time
To think about the logistics of it?
to go like.
Yeah, logistically, it would be just, you'd have to be, it's like a Santa Claus thing, right? It's not really,
But
it's
even
not
Santa
really
Claus,
real.
it would still work.
All right, so keep it going, and I want you to turn to the page, I think it's the 4th page here, Personification, Poem Example, I Saw Love. Now, I know the boys, especially the boys, probably the girls too, this is like sappy to talk about love, and so I'm sorry that it's about love. Yours can be about anything else. It doesn't have to be about love at all, okay? But this is one, and it's in that pattern that I want you to write yours in, which I'm about to set you loose to do. So first of all, you're going to use that concept, idea, emotion, color, something that's not human. and say, I saw, in this case, love. And then, what was he or she doing? She was pirouetting down the street with pink ribbons in her long curly hair. So I have what she did, and then I have adjectives describing what she looked like. And then I felt amused, the emotion. So again, I saw love. He was curled up and breathing into the soft fur of an orange and white kitten. Then he kissed me on the cheek, and I felt tenderness. I saw love, doing the dishes, making breakfast, patching the roof, and mowing the lawn, with strong, quiet hands, and I felt grateful. So yours, you're going to do something just like this, but you're going to pick something different to talk about if you want. But I want you to use the format that I have here, where you say what you saw, you say what he or she was doing. So you have to think about what that would be doing, whatever you're going to personify. How they would look, and then how you felt. And follow this format. And so how many lines is it?
12. Yes.
I think it's 13 lines. And so it needs to be 13 lines. So let's see now if you can create something that's using this format, but it's something that's your own. Okay? That's what we're going to do for the rest of this period.